Welcome to Market Matters. Today I'm Sulhi Azman, joined together by the lovely Charlotte Chong. Anyway, Charlotte, it's been a fairly unexciting day today despite the good weather outside there. I think people are still digesting what the Petronas CEO said yesterday.
So after what we saw yesterday, a slew of excitement in the market, like we saw a lot of people buying from Alibaba website in China. But today it's fairly slow and I don't see a lot of movement. KLCI actually was largely in the red for most of the day, but it closed down by 2 points or 0.13% to end at 1,663.2 points. Investors are still digesting of what Petronas CEO said yesterday. So what did he say actually? Because you were there in the event, isn't he?
Yeah, I was there in the event yesterday, and Petronas CEO Dato' Wan Zulkifli is giving a very cautious note saying that that it will actually slash down dividends payment from 26 billion ringgit this year to 16 billion ringgit this year. That's a drop of 10 billion ringgit or 38.5 points. That's a cause for concern, isn't it?
Now, having said that, right, actually I actually talked to Nadia yesterday and said that probably the government would actually revise budget again because of the the lower revenue from Petronas. What do you think? Do you think the government would actually slash that?
Well, it depends on the commodity prices too. In the third quarter, right, the average dated Brent is actually averaging about $55 per barrel, and I think today the commodity prices is still depressed below $50 per barrel. Anyway, saying that, I think let's have a quick look at the Petronas link counters. Basically, Petchem was up by 0.31% or 6 ringgit and 52 cents. What about Pet Dagangan?
So Petronas Dagangan is about 23.42 ringgit, close at 23.42, close 2.74% down. Now tomorrow, as I say, investors actually will going to wait for the third quarter GDP figures announced by Tan Sri Dr. Zeti Akhtar Aziz. But actually, just now you mentioned about today, it's been a fairly unexciting day, not just in KLCI, but when you look at regional market, Nikkei 225 actually gained by 0.3% up, and Shanghai actually closed 0.48% down today.
Well, let's hope that the good old Tan Sri Zeti will give some figures that will chase the investors tomorrow. Anyway, moving on to our hot stock of the day, we have Tien Wah Press Holdings Bhd. The stock went up by 28.57% to close at 2 ringgit and 34 cents today, and it has been climbing steadily by 42% since mid-August this year on stronger third quarter earnings today.
Now, what does this company do? This company actually, they are involved in rotograver. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Rotograver, okay.
Printing of tipping paper. So actually, they are, providing all these papers to cigarettes company. Now, but recently, actually, some of the cigarettes company, most of them actually, they have already increased their cigarette prices. Do you think this will actually, cause an impact for Tien Wah Press Holdings?
Well, total industry volume is expected to be going lower because illicit cigarettes are going to be coming up because, people are start looking for alternative basically because the government has actually increased the excise duty for the cigarette price by 40%. Now, what used to cost 28 cents previously per stick is now costing about 40 cents per stick, and that would really impact the cigarette makers. But saying that, Charlotte, I think this counter, right, it provides packaging for tobacco, right?
Yeah, correct. Now, BAT Singapore remained as its largest client in 2014, accounting for about 45.8% of its revenue. Moving on to property venture, this company is also, involved in property. And in August this year, Tien Wah signed a memorandum of understanding with Lam Chang Holdings Limited, a Singapore-listed company, to propose a development in PJ.
Well, they currently own 3.2% land in PJ with a total net book value of 26.6 million ringgit. They plan to do a commercial development. I don't know, Charlotte, will this bode well for them? Property, I'm not really a property bullish though,
I don't think so. I think at this time it's not, too optimistic to venture into, counters sectors like property or oil and gas sector. I don't think, I'm not very, very happy
about that. Very bullish about that.
Bullish about this.
But anyway, looking at the earnings, right, the revenue went 7.7% up, and net profit jumped by a hefty nearly 300%. Anyway, just to take it all away, the stock ended today nearly 30% higher, making it one of the top gainers. The share price drivers could include indirect beneficiary of tobacco companies, and moving on to the property development by unlocking its land value. Now, moving on to stock with momentum today, where we have Wah Genting Bhd, which is pegged by as a negative momentum by the Edge Research. Now, the stock closed 12.5 cent low, unchanged today, flat.
Now, this company, they are actually manufacturer and trader of wires and cables. But recently, they diversify into the supply of ferrous, non-ferrous and base metal minerals. They're going to supply these minerals to Singapore Metals and Minerals Private Limited. Now, I actually noticed from Bursa Malaysia, they were recently slapped UMA by Bursa Malaysia on November 5.
Yeah, correct. I mean, share price sold by 62.5% that day, and the management has replied by saying that it was unaware of any other activities except to pare down its core business. Now, look at the core business, right, Charlotte? We have all these ferrous, non-ferrous materials and so on, and we have these travel and tour services. How does that complement
this company, other than providing manufacturing cables, they are also into automotive and spare parts, which they have already disposed it. They are also in tin mining and travel services divisions. Well, look at their annual reports. Tin mining actually provide about 3.2% for its revenue, wire and cable about 7.2%. So it's likely for them to pare down these, either one of these two segments, which is not really contributing to the company.
Now, recall that in 2003, where it opened a casino in Cambodia, but only ceased operations there. 3 years later, in 2010, it moved into automotive segment. As you said earlier, so this company, they seem to be doing, too many things at one time, and I'm not really sure whether they can actually be focusing on that earnings-wise. It doesn't look very exciting, doesn't it?
Now, the company has been loss-making since financial year 2011, and just now when I mentioned that they are going to diversify into supply ferrous and non-ferrous base material to this company, Singapore company, and actually, they say they are going to supply a minimum of 25,000 metric ton of ferrosilicon per year, and it will actually translate to a revenue of 105.9 million, which would actually, cause the company to return to black.
I see. Okay, now to take it all the way together, the company was recently slapped by UMA queries by Bursa Malaysia, but the company said it is not aware of any other activities except for paring down the non-core business, and is also diversifying, as rightly pointed out by my colleague Charlotte, that supplying ferrous and non-ferrous based materials for a Singapore-listed company.